what do you go through in trying to find the talent that you need for your international team? And I think it'll give a good perspective to people, because people are used to looking at English county cricket, they're used to looking at India and thing. But what do you see in Zimbabwe for a domestic scene?
Yeah, see, as we have in India, we have a lot of teams, like we got 27 teams, first-class team. I was really shocked when I went to Zimbabwe. I said, the first-class setup. So there is a Logan Cup, which is called a first-class 4-day game. And you won't believe there are only 4 teams. So I said 4 teams, that the pool of players are too less. So this year they have added the 5th team. So at least we have got 5 teams so that the players play more. So you got a lot of players to choose from. Because if you have got only limited players, then you're restricted to choose only the same players round and round. So I think this year we have got a lot of opportunities for a younger lot as well. So there are 5 teams. They play among each other, say twice, and at least they get some match practice. Because I always keep on saying they have to have match practice. Game behind their back. If a batsman, he has to get behind. Runs behind his back so that he's more confident going into a test match or going into a one-day game. So we played this few games, like Logan Cup games, before this series as well. So it was good that after the lockdown we started off this Logan Cup. But again, in January, Zimbabwe government came with this stricter norms, and they had to lock down from January 5th to February 5th. So we never had much time to prepare. But it was good that they asked the government that whether we can practice. So we had some practice. So we had to really fight against all odds. Yeah. But I just keep on telling them that please don't give any excuses. Let's get on with the game. Let's play whatever we are getting it. We have to try and practice. And I think the boys have done exceptionally well. And to be very honest, this is a very, very new team, young team. There are only 3 or 4 senior guys. If you look at our batting lineup, there are a lot of young guys.
Sean Williams, yeah.
Yeah, there are only senior guys like Sean Williams, Raza. I can't name anymore. The Regis is the wicket keeper. And then you got young Wesley Medevra, who is from under 19. He's a good kid. The 2 openers are new. But I think overall, if you look at this, the setup, I think we have given opportunity. The guys who have performed in the Logan Cup, and they have been given an opportunity to play in this tournament. So I think performance-based, so that players also try to perform in the domestic cricket. And once their performance is recognized, they make it in the national team. So that's how it should be. So it's good. But at the same time, I still feel that they have to play 18 tournaments. That's very important. After under 19, the A team would really give them a good perspective before coming to the national team.
And do you have, I know there's been a broadcast deal recently, so obviously people around the world over the next year, a couple of years, will get to see a lot more Zimbabwe cricket than they've been able to see, which is fantastic for your team, I think.
Exactly, because if you look at this, nobody knew Zimbabwe whom they are playing, what are the scores, unless they read newspaper. But TV gives a wider base, and once the TV is there, I think the players also feel that I'll be watched all around the world, so I can get into different leagues as well. Because if I perform, I can get into English leagues, or some T20 leagues, the franchisees. There are a lot of leagues around the world, like say T10 was now in Abu Dhabi, then T20 in Canada. There are Mazanzi Cup or PSL. So I think it opens a wide opportunity for these players. If you perform well, people recognize you, and then you get. And the best part of Indian cricket is why? Because of the IPL, because they rub shoulders with the best players of the world. The same thing, if Zimbabwe players can play in this league, they will be much more exposed, much more experienced, and then maturity comes handy to them. Because if you rub shoulders with the best players, then you improve your game as well. So I'm sure this deal will definitely help the players as well, and hopefully if they perform, they get into these leagues as well.
Fantastic. Let's get to your coaching career. So you alluded to how you started at Zimbabwe. So maybe we could give viewers a slight bit of story on that. You were head coach of Afghanistan, and they wanted you to play in Kabul, right? And then you came back to India.
Yes, Afghanistan, I think I was there for 2 years, and the only mission or goal we had that, they never used to play test cricket. They used to play only T20 and one-day cricket. I said, people, don't recognize too many, T20 or one day. People will recognize how many test matches you have played, how many runs you have got in a test match, because that is the real character. So we had one mission that we want to get it, into the test team. How do we get that? So I said performance, because if you perform well, ICC has got no choice but to recognize you and give that ICC membership as a test playing country. So you won't believe, from the last 2 years when I was there, we never lost a single series. Every series we won. Only one series we lost, that was in Bangladesh, that took 2-1 in Bangladesh, but rest of the series we won, and that made their case much easier. And ICC had no choice to but recognize them and Ireland as a test playing country. So once they got test playing country, they were very elated, they were very happy now that Afghanistan is going to play test cricket. And we all were really happy that, Afghanistan has become the test playing country. After that, and I think the Afghanistan board wanted me, because since I had done so much hard work, we had done with the team, they said that when there is no senior team tour, why don't you come to Kabul and, help our under 19 or even 18. So that was the reason why I said I had made it very clear when I joined that I will not be going to Kabul. So that was the only thing, because my family would not allow me to go. Right. So I had to leave that, and we went on a good note, because they also accepted this thing that it is very difficult for me to come to Kabul, and that's the reason why I left Afghanistan, and I was in India. And then I think there was a very good article by you that mentioned that if Zimbabwe is looking for some revival, they should have. I think
Streak had just moved out, or he had some problem with the Zimbabwe team, and they were looking for a coach.
Yeah, because I think they never qualified for the World Cup 19, so they had they were looking for new coaching staff. Yeah. And I think your article came at the right time, at the right place. I always keep on saying it, just. So that really must have clicked them. And you won't believe, I was surprised that one day I got a call from Zimbabwe's MD. He says, we just read in the paper that you're not anymore with Afghanistan. So are you keen on working with Zimbabwe? I said, definitely I would love to, but let me have some time to think over. And then they gave me a contract for 3 months just on a provisional basis, so that I said, okay, I'll come, I'll have a look at it. Then the players should like me, and then it should be both ways as well. So I'll have a look at it, and then we'll take a call on that. So after that, I think they really liked my, coaching style, or maybe, they were happy with me, and they offered me a 3-year contract. So that's how it all happened. And I think the first tour which I went to Bangladesh, they had never won, as I said, in 1998. We won a test match in Bangladesh. We all know that how difficult it is to win in Bangladesh, their own home country. But I think the boys...
And that was a stronger Bangladesh side than there is today, actually. That was quite a strong one.
Yeah. They were very, Mustafis, you name it, they were all there. But I think we played better cricket there, and we were prepared well. But after that, then came that ICC thing, and then we were,
and there were problems with paying players and all of that.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, I remember.
And then we were out of cricket for almost 6 to 8 months. So that never helped. But again, we are fighting it.
Absolutely. You're on your way back.
We will back, so we will not leave it, and we'll definitely try and get back where old Zimbabwe was there.
Revolutionary cricket commentary.
So I certainly agree with Aninde that perhaps there is an economy of words and a brevity in today's writing, but I think you're able to mine potentially even slightly deeper subject matter in sports writing than you perhaps could historically. Anyway, look, gentlemen, it would be remiss of me if I wasn't to ask both of you a couple of final questions. And that was the what's in the pipeline. So Ashley, let me come to you first, and obviously we'll just close by talking about both recent books. But what's keeping you busy at the moment, apart from chatting to us?
Yeah, well, there is a lot.
There's a lot of work to promote a book, by the way, I would imagine.
It is, yeah, a lot of it falls back on the author, and at the moment it's one of the few things that I've got to that's happening for me at the moment, because my work has declined during the COVID period. So in a way it's been a blessing, because it's given me more time to promote the book. But yeah, it's hard work doing that. Look, Lawrence Rowe has asked me to write his biography, which I would like to do. I mean, I've already met him and interviewed him, but ideally I'd like to see him again, and he'd take me back to Jamaica and the places and the people that he knew there when he was growing up. And because although I take Linda's point that writing today isn't as flowery, and that in some ways it's perhaps sharper, which is good, because stories are probably more easily digested by readers. But I think there's still scope for amazingly different angles on things, and I'm looking for the way that we can make this book something out of the ordinary in terms of a biography. I don't just want to write Lawrence was born, he had a few good innings at the crease, he went on the Rebel tours, he was forced to leave to go to America, and blah, he's almost dead, I want to be able to I think there's still scope for the imagination to work in these things, in biographies, and to use flowery language, but in a situation where it's going to work, and I think that's the art of the writer, is to be able to make that work, at different times. I mean, it may not always be sort of the right thing to do, but I think that the current style that Anindo was talking about is like all styles. It is a style. It's a fashion. It doesn't have to be the way that you do things. They're all, and the great writers will come through and redefine that style and give you something else and some other way of looking at words and at stories and at narratives and how they relate to the reader. So, anyway, that's where I'm at in terms of the old pipeline.
Well, that's going to be an associated project, I guess, to the last one, but a very interesting one. Fantastic. Well, John Steinbeck. What did John Steinbeck say? He said, "A great and interesting story is about everyone, or it will not last." And he knew a thing about storytelling. So you're on the same page there. So the Lawrence Rowe, the true story, the deeper story, the depth behind the man, I think is definitely going to be one to look out for. And Indo, what about you? What's in your? I mean, you're still talking about the greatest year. It's still up there, top of the Amazon Indian charts, isn't it?
Well, much more than I thought it would be. So it's been out there for a month at number one. Obviously, people are enjoying reading it. Thank you. Thank you so much. So people are enjoying reading it. It's a short read, and it's a new generation of readers who've heard about those victories which started it all, if you like, for Indian cricket. Have a chance to read those stories. So I guess that's why it's doing well. But I really enjoyed writing it. I've got a book in publication, like I was mentioning, which should come out by the end of the year, maybe early next year. That's not on cricket. That's also on sports history, Indian sports history. So I can't talk about it at the moment, but we're just starting to go through the editing process of it now, and I just got a call from my editor today, actually, to say that let's speed it up. We decided to leave it until early next year because of COVID, and then today he called and said let's speed it up, and we'll try and get it out by the end of the year. And I've been working on a work of fiction I started a long time ago, and that's going to go on for a while. So there'll be a cricket angle to it. That's all I know.
What? Let us know if you need any help, any inspiration. Ashley and I will be on the end of a phone probably.
You did say
And we are back. Supposed to be Forthy's supposed to be joining us. He's there somewhere in the back room. There he is. All right, Forthy.
Hello. Yes, very good, thank you. We start the England reply.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I should play some jingles to get us all off and running. We have
Go ahead.
Team, this desk guy.
Get up on this. Salt, yeah, Phil is here. Want you to push it good into the offside. Skulls runs around the park. There's nowhere you can hide. Push it. Salt, yeah, Phil is here.
And this guy.
Duckworth Lewis loves you. The clouds part for you. Nothing stands in your way when you're a Roy.
In the bowling is.
I beseech thee, lords of cricket, that I, your humble servant, Fred Klaassen, gain protection from those who can clear the boundary.
Strange jingle for that.
Salute. Yes, Fred Klaassen. He's got I think 14 wickets, so he's got a good economy at 4.74 for ODIs, and he will be opening the Dutch reply from a bowling point of view, and he will be bowling to Jason Roy. It tends to be feast or famine with Jason Roy.
Absolutely.
Either a duck or a massive century. Let's see which we're going to get today. Can't be too big a century because they're just the target is 245. Fred Klaassen, a little shock of boyish hair, comes in, left arm over the wicket, bowls not unlike sort of left-handed version of Brydon Carse. That first ball is just played down to mid-on. There is no run. Any chance of a shock, would you reckon, Bear?
I wouldn't have thought so. I was just about to ask how many overs do we reckon this is going to take?
40, 38. Am I on?
Yeah, you are on.
Yeah, okay.
I would say, I think less. I think 25. Maybe, no, 30, I think.
Klaassen. Rumbling in again, all arms and legs. And that one's just played neatly out into the covers, where I think that's Vikramjit Singh fields it, no run. 82 miles an hour, so not sluggish.
And I guess him and Van Meekeren, will make a difference.
Yes, well, let's hope so. Where would you place them on the county circuit? Where would they?
I think me and Andy are the wrong people to ask here.
Definitely. Definitely.
I'm afraid tucked away in Melbourne, I'm no better.
Well, I remember when we were on with Jack, and Jack said, I've got a bit of problem with my tooth, and we both said, well, we're the right people to ask. But when it comes to actual knowledge of cricket, not so much.
Limited. First run of the innings that's played between the two men in the covers there, out to the sweeper. Roy gets off the mark. England 1 for no wicket after 3 balls. Doesn't seem to be any demons in the track, although it was going through quite nicely. A couple flew over the keeper's head when they were dug in.
Yeah, I thought that was out for a minute.
I did for half a second, yeah.
But no.
Klaassen. I'll go off my TV screen. So yeah, okay. So that one was dug in, and that one went way over Salt's head. Not called a wide, surprisingly.
No.
Should have been. That's a dot ball, 5th ball of the over. Quite invitingly into the gap, but that sweeper, who's about 10 yards in from the boundary on the offside. It's just trying to get his name right. Nidamanuru. And he fields it successfully. So both the openers have now opened their accounts. England 2 for 0.
Quite quiet first over.
Yes, not a great deal happening here. Last ball of it. And that's just knocked down to point. No run, just 2 runs from Klaassen, conceded by Klaassen. England 2 for none at the end of the first over.
Also fairly quiet on Twitter, as is often the way. Start of the second innings, people just digesting their lunch.
Absolutely.
Mog did say half an hour ago when Salar came into bat.
No, he didn't come into bat. He upped and retired after the first game.
No,
I think that's
Klaassen, sorry, I mean my mistake.
Yeah.
He said, guess who'd been reading ancient Egyptian protection invocations when doing the Klaassen jingle, so that sort of explains that one.
Oh, well, indeed. Not a bad first over there. Where did we end
up on the GBL?
Well, unless England lose by 1 run, if England lose by 1 run, i.e. get 2-4-3, then someone will win. Other than that, 287 was the next highest score, which would require
some sort of biblical collapse.
Yeah. Sorry, 487, which will require an inordinate amount of runs off the last ball to win.
487's okay. 487's the one that's close. What's the next one?
Oh yeah, 487. 498 is the next one.
Yeah,
sorry,
okay,
which would be an impossibility.
Phil Salt, who's already got a century to his name in this series, settles over his bat. Logan van Beek explodes into the crease. That one was wide, went a little bit wider. Salt successfully chased after it. Let's make it to the boundary. Called in by, I think that's Bawasavane out there, who knocks it back, I think, to Vikramjit.
And we should have a jingle for the bowler.
Coming up next is a Kiwi Dutchman. Van Beek, he'll bet and bowl. Van Beek, he'll bet and bowl. Van Beek, he'll bet and bowl.
Yeah, a few crisps there.
Getting stuck in the throat.
Very slightly. I've had some water. Hopefully I'll... Don't worry about me. Professional as ever.
Absolutely.
In comes Van Beek. Beautiful textbook forward defensive. Although it does slightly go off the inside edge to the man at square leg there. And there is no run. 3 was scored off that first ball from Salt, so he's moved on to 4 and the score to 5 for no wicket.
So I want you to guess which tweeter says, we had a wobble in the last match, I think we're due a major collapse.
I can guess who that is.
It's something to do with being doomed, I imagine.
Oh, yes,
that could be right.
A dot ball off the third ball to Roy, who is in so rather unexpectedly has got 1 run off 6 balls. This is most unlike it.
He'll catch up. I think Josie Oakes should learn to be a little bit more optimistic in life.
No, he's picked his lane. I think he's going to stick with it.
I think he's firmly in his lane, yeah.
Very much on brand, his tweeting. In comes Van Beek, and that one climbs on Roy, who climbs on top of it and hits it through the covers for 4 of these.
That was a very nice shot. Yeah, right.
It was.
Seemed to jump on him a bit and still managed to get on top and hit it to the boundary for 4 runs. Tim
Pringle. He isn't in cricket. Jason Roy looked absolutely out of his depth when he played Test cricket against Australia 3 years ago.
Didn't he just? I mean, that was the stupidest decision ever made, though.
But I wonder how he would have done at that Trent Bridge pitch last week.
Fine,
that would have been maybe.
Yeah,
I think he'd have done all right there.
Now that one's another 4 from Roy. He's immediately gone for 9 runs off 8. This one flicked through the leg side.
That was a nice shot. He didn't get over it that time, did he? But there was no mid-wicket had been a bit straighter, possibly. Tim Pringle looks a bit like Harry Potter, doesn't he?
Really needs. I know they're not paid much, but he really needs to get some better glasses.
Yeah. He looks like the glasses of our new Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. That one was just knocked down to mid-on. They'll have to hurry, but the shy at the stumps was off, so Salt does pick up his single.
So is that was that the plan in Australia, to sort of put up against Scott Morrison the absolute opposite of him, a nerd?
Well, it seems to have worked.
Yes.
To be honest, you could have put up a Cocker Spaniel, and he probably would have beaten Scott Morrison. We were so sick of him. That's England 14 for 0 at the end of the second over.
Yeah, hopefully this country will feel the same about Boris Johnson in 2 years. Don't really care who it is, as long as it's not Tories.
Yeah, careful what you wish for.
Yeah,
Anything happening on the old socials?
Not much. Leah says, "Come on, England, start effing up already." It probably the only real entertainment today I think we do. And Trent Bridge said, "Did someone just mention me?" No. Get back in your box.
Trent Bridge. That would have been unfortunate if someone knew nothing about cricket and his surname was Bridge.
It's called Trent Bridge.
Trent. Yeah. So that first ball of Klaassen's over Klaassen, AAS. He's played out into the covers directly to the man, and no run for Roy.
You remember that girl whose Twitter handle was The Ashes?
Yes. We had her on the show.
Well, she got on the BBC.
Yeah, I know. Well, we climbed aboard with everyone else, but yeah.
So don't fear Ashes.
No, it was just her. Well, it was a bit weird. It was just her Twitter handle, but she kept complaining about people using the hashtag The Ashes, which is not how hashtags work. You don't get hashtags on your own Twitter feed just because they're the same name.
No, I think people were using at the Ashes or something. I don't know, I can't remember. But yeah, she got an awful lot. And she did knitting or something, and was she in North America?
I don't neither know nor care.
A dot ball, second ball, and third ball.
It's got to be a wide.
Absolutely balloons over everybody.
But I think...
Oh, I rather thought that had gone down to... It's called a wide, correctly.
It's good take by the keeper, actually, because it went really high.
Yeah, I assumed it had sailed over his head, but it hadn't.
Yeah, I think due to the unique way the BBC is funded, they flew her out to a game.
They might have done, I seem to think.
This one, a very nice shot from Roy, bisecting the gully and, I suppose, point, and that goes down for 4 of these.
It's me, she. It's me, she.
I think she was from Middle America, if I remember rightly.
Yes, she was American, yeah.
And she knew nothing about cricket and was getting really confused.
Didn't they invite her for a day at the Ashes in the end, I think?
That's it, we got her on the bloody,
Was she good value?
I can't remember. I was quite hammered, I think.
Blofeld said the same.
Fred Klaassen in again. That was a nice shot from Roy. He doesn't get all of it and just goes as sweeper has to go about 10 yards to his right on the boundary, and they come back to 2. England 21 for none.
It was the 10-11 Ashes.
No, I don't think it was that.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yeah, because I remember Dan interviewed her and we were in my flat in Nunhead.
Because of the wide, this will be the 5th ball of the over. Klaassen. It gets tight into the stumps, not unlike Curran, but that's where the similarities end. He's about a foot taller. That one's played out into the point region. No run. Roy 16 off 14. The target is 245, which would present no particular difficulties for any international team, least of all this English team.
Yeah, you'd have thought.
Last ball of the over. Klaassen in. And a repeat of the earlier ball, which just balloons again. I don't know, there's something a bit odd in the pitch there, but tennis ball bounce right over. It's a wide. And the gamekeeper, Scott Edwards, does well to haul it in. He's shaking his head there. He's also the skipper, of course. That's down foot.
Maybe it's a tactic. Maybe they think they can get Jason Roy out on a hook, caught a fine leg.
Well, I suppose it's a tactic. I don't know whether it's got much chance of...
Not when you're bowling that short, no.
Not really.
I mean,
okay, dot ball, last ball of the over, just played down by Salt. England 22 for none. Roy 16, Salt 4 at the end of the third.
Leah says Morrison was really weird, religious weirdo, deeply anti-intellectual and habitual liar, and didn't even get the military stuff right to satisfy the right-wingers either.
He got absolutely nothing right, Morrison. Absolutely.
How long did he last?
Well, he had one term.
Which is how
There was
long?
a coup. The
years?
Liberals always 3 years in Australia.
Yeah.
There was a coup at the end of the previous parliament, and they got rid of the reasonable guy called Malcolm Turnbull.
Wasn't he? He was also a nutcase as well, wasn't he, Turnbull?
No, not a nutcase. Tony Abbott, you might be thinking.
Yes, he was a complete fucking nutcase.
Absolute fucking nutcase. Turnbull was the most reasonable of all of them. Van Beek, that's full, bit floaty and wide, and goes out to the man at point. No run. Going to Salt. Yeah, I think when everybody woke up the day after the election, not everybody obviously, there was a feeling of relief. There was 9 bloody long years of idiotic Liberal rule. Finally, maybe we'll get something done. In comes Van Beek again. It's a length delivery, almost a half volley, but Salt can only get it to the man at mid-on. Hits it well, so no run.
Well, we've had 12 years of fucking Tories. Which is...
Yeah, but I mean, we the Liberals, it's complicated to explain, but Liberals were in coalition with the Nationals, and the Nationals are absolute environmental refuseniks. Liberals needed the Nationals to stay in power, so we've had 10 years of absolute going nowhere on the environment. We've gone backwards. It's an absolute disgrace, actually. In comes Van Beek again. Salt almost hauls himself off his feet and manages to get that one over the ropes for 6, almost behind his own back.
It wasn't. It was a 4. Bounced in front, didn't it? Yeah, it was 4. Top
My
edge.
apologies. That's my feed, which is letting me down there.
That's okay. 4th. It was a top edge in the end. Went in the right place.
Just landed inside the rope there. Van Beek gives the impression that it was almost out, but it wasn't really. That's a line and length ball from Van Beek. Just closes the bat at Salt and manages to get it wide of the man at mid-wicket, and they come through for a single. He moves on to 9, the score on to 27.
When it was a full shot, I suppose. Now, Netherlands got to 27, I think, in the 7th over.
There's your comparison.
Yeah.
Roy's already, Roy and Salt, both of them already more than a ball. Pensive looking Edwards behind the stumps, and may well he be. That one's fairly an undistinguished ball, wide of the stumps, and a nice looking shot from Roy, but straight to the field and no run.
Yeah, very
O'Dowd's
nice.
got a man bun.
Yeah, very nice looking shot, but straight at the fielder.
We see Niall O'Brien in the commentary shed. They've got some very nice blue shirts, these commentators.
Yeah, quite
Chris.
tight fitting though. Wouldn't look
Very
good on
tight
me.
fitting. Probably wouldn't fit most of us.
Yeah. Don't like anything tight fitting.
The last ball of Van Beek's over. He's got the English disease. Puts it halfway down the track. Not a wide on this occasion. Dot ball. They've obviously all talked this through. And then 27 for none at the end of the 4th.
Roger Melly, Scott Morrison was the Groucho Marx of Australian politics. These are my principles. If you don't like them, I have others. Josie
Exactly correct.
Everything is relative. Turnbull was still a Bradman. And Leah says the whole Liberal Party amongst the first to be put up against Rahul Dravid when the revolution comes.
Yeah. Probably
Yes.
so. Which could be quite soon if the world falls apart. You never know.
Yes.
Well, Australia will be the first. Australia will be the first to go Mad Max appropriately.
I suppose so. We sort of vacillate between feeling quite smug, being tucked away at the bottom of the world, and on the other, and then there'll be a forest fire or the whole thing will go to
Attack
shit.
of killer scorpions or something.
Yeah, well, everything's poisonous. Everything will rise up and poison you all.
Klaassen in for his first ball of the over. Match played down by Salt into the mid-wicket area. No run. It's a little bit exaggerated, to be honest. I can live in Melbourne from January 1st to December 31st and never see a shark or not even a snake. Some years, although they do exist.
Spiders, though. It's got to be poisonous spiders in the city centre.
I think the last time someone died from a spider bite in Melbourne was about 50 years ago.
Oh, okay.
You could, honestly, guys, just come down. You'd be fine.
I remember sitting up at the top of Bondi Bay when I first went to Australia. I was 18, and thinking, "Shit, I'm going to get eaten by or bitten by a trapdoor spider or something."
Webs in Sydney, which are killers, but they only kill about 3 people
a year.
No, I don't know. Even that's an exaggeration. That's Klaassen to Salt, and Salt knocks it quite nicely wide of the man at mid-wicket and picks up a couple.
Well, wasn't Messi just telling us he found... no, it was my brother. He lives near Brisbane. He was over recently. They found, was it brown something snake in his back garden?
Yeah, brown snakes are pretty lethal, it's true. Brown snakes and tiger snakes. Oh, that's a nice looking shot. And it's very well fielded by the man at mid-on. He's grazed his elbow in the process. Can't quite see who it was. Cooper, maybe. So just the one run.
Is Australia self-sufficient in things like grains? Like
Grains?
stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we're not too badly situated with regard to food. I don't know about grains, to be honest. That's a good question. Klaassen in again.
Got no oil though, surely.
A bit low on oil, it's true.
Listen, they've got a lot of coal. It would appear.
We've got a lot of minerals.
Yeah.
Keep digging them up and send them off to China.
Wow.
That's how the country's maintained itself. That's a wide down the leg side from Klaassen.
And you know what? There's a lot of earth you could cover with solar panels, I'm sure. That could create enough energy.
Well, that's the thing. Klaassen in again. Forward defensive to mid-wicket no run. There's some pause down on Australia, which is the 6th geographically in terms of area biggest country in the world from all year round, and yet there's not, no one's thought to do anything about this. Just dig up the minerals and ship them off to China. That's the only strategy, really.
It does seem to me to be quite simple to have alternative energy in Australia.
Well, comparatively simple, yeah, but I think we are going to, I think there is a change of gear now with the new government. And Roy attempts a ramp and doesn't connect, so the ball sails through to the keeper. Got ball.
I got to admit, I do sometimes get stuck in D-Max programs, Opal Hunters, Australian Opal Hunters and Australian Gold Hunters. They're always quite entertaining. I always think, it looks quite adventurous. I quite like to have a go at that.
Klaassen in again. Pass ball of the over. That's gone way up in the air, but he's managed to clear, just plug it between the two fielders. The one coming in from the boundary and one sort of backpedaling from mid-wicket. Picks up a couple of runs. England 33 for none at the end of the 5th. Roy on 18, Salt on 12. Klaassen's gone for 16 off his 3.
Message Jazz, publicity about our deadly wildlife is our best means of border protection. Brian Barish, I'm back. What did I miss? Everything. Great. O'Neill Harris, it's not exactly that the spiders kill people, it's that they can. And even if you survive, the PTSD and pain will affect family and friends. Warren point. Well, Warren talked about the name Liberal. I mean, these names get co-opted. I mean, you had all the worst, all the worst countries in the world have Democratic in their name.
Yeah.
And Leah says the Australian economy is dogshit and by some very important metrics worse than Bangladesh's. 2 weeks after the collapse, everyone there will be dead after resorting to cannibalism. Shot.
Well, on that cheery note, we return to Van Beek's opening ball of the over when Salt unfurls a beautiful looking cover drive and picks up 4.
Now my innings going, great guns, I hit the ball, 4 runs, I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
So if the England cricket team went cannibal, what would they say to each other? It's a joke.
I don't know.
Pass the Salt.
Oh dear, You get quite a lot out of him as well.
In comes Van Beek. That one's played out to mid-wicket. Bit of a grimace from the fielder there. I don't think there was any danger of it going to hand. It appeared to be all along the ground.
I imagine well barbecued human tastes quite good if you cut out all your gizzards and stuff. When you're a veggie, aren't you? But I mean,
yeah, I'll pass.
Tastes like pig. Apparently, it's the closest animal that we taste like.
Okay.
Well, we're called long pigs in cannibal societies.
Yeah.
That's flicked off that's flicked off his legs by Salt, and the man at 45 on the leg side just fails to grab hold of it and goes through for 4.
Went past it pretty quick. That's a dive. It would have been a good catch one-handed at that pace.
Yeah.
Is that why the band, the Long Pigs, are called the Long Pigs?
Yeah, I would think so.
That is exactly correct. Yes. Did you manage them in your day, Bear? Or were you asked to?
No.
Okay. Who was the band you were asked to manage?
No, I wasn't asked to manage.
Okay. Van Beek in again. And this time the ball goes over the head of the man at point, and not with any great power, so the sweeper on the boundary comes round. and they just come back for 2. Salt moves on to 22.
When I was doing my sound engineering course, I was asked by a friend of mine whose girlfriend, brother or something was the manager of Carse, and they needed a sound engineer, live tour sound engineer, and I was asked to do that, but I didn't feel I had the experience to be able to go out on a tour. I'd only been doing my course for about 6 months. So it was a bit of an ask and a bit of a stretch.
I'm not sure Carse lasted longer than 6 months anyway.
Just had the one big hit, didn't they?
Yep.
Van Beek again. This time there's a repeat of a man flying through the air, trying tempting one-handed to get through. So this time through the mid-on region, and again Salt picks up 4.
Taking her chances, getting away with it. I was a sound engineer for a band called Smirkic.
I do not know Smirkic.
No.
History has not really fondly remembered Smirkic, is it?
No.
Or remember
this
them
one
at all.
swatted through the square leg region with considerable power and finesse by Salt to pick up another boundary.
2 + 2 is a remember.
England 51 for no wicket. Sorry, England 51 for no wicket at the end of the 6th over.
Today on Twitter we're learning about Australia. The Jersey Jingler said horses, cows and kangaroos are much more likely to kill you. Last spider fatality was in 1979. It's like the most dangerous animal in the world is actually the hippo, if you don't count malaria flies. Jez, Australia is a massive exporter of wheat and other grains.
Oh, okay.
Brian Barish, Australian sport is way more interesting than American sport. It's also funny that Americans warn against going to Australia because everything will try to kill you, ignoring everything that's happened there in the last year or so, which is more everyone will try to kill you.
Yes, absolutely.
And which gorilla is going to end up on the spit at the barbecue at Gorilla Towers?
I have no idea.
But Klaassen jags that ball back very effectively. And of course, cricket being cricket, gets the inside edge of Roy's bat and goes down to the vacant fine leg area for 4 of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I mean, Roy just didn't move his feet there, did he? Just jabbed his bat on it. I mean, you got to feel a bit unlucky there as a bowler. It's completely done him.
Them's the vagaries.
Yes.
Half man, half biscuit. So, what were we saying? Hang on. Oh yes, Klaassen in again. And this one's wide, tucked down to the man at 45 on the leg side. They come back for 1. Roy moves on to 23. It's hippos and buffaloes who are the big killers in Africa, but both vegetarians, as your wife no doubt knows all about there.
Yes, indeed. Elephants do a fair bit of stuff too.
They can do. My wife's in Kenya at the moment.
Oh,
actually,
nice.
She's in Nairobi helping her mother move into a home. Oh. She's 88. In comes Klaassen again. That was actually a leg by that previous ball. It's a bit hard for me to see with my jerky coverage exactly what happened there. Perhaps you can fill me in.
He just helped it down to fine leg, and there's the debate is whether it went for 4 or 6.
I think it went for 6. It's another top edge.
Almost hit the handle of the bat.
Yeah, it did.
Salt, we have to say, is absolutely flying. I think that's 4, but he's still on 34 off 17.
Well, that camera angle didn't tell you, but I think it went over the boundary, the rope. Only just.
With 200 strike rate.
I need to get closer in on that one. That shot there.
Maybe. It's impossible for me to be able to comment on that.
Here we go. You can't really see. The problem is I don't really see the rope. Oh, I think it might just be inside or might hit the rope. Problem is, that's the great thing about a sponge. It's big, colourful, and
easier to see.
It.
I think you might be right. I think it might be 6 actually.
It's hard to tell, isn't it? I think it might just be over. Well, they're giving it
4.
Giving it 4. I gave it 6. Fuck you all.
Is it just the triangular ones that are known as Toblerone, presumably?
Presumably, yeah.
Question from Josh: are those little black birds with the red beaks moorhens? They are indeed. Yeah. Not quite sure what that's apropos. They were definitely what you can't get killed by a moorhen unless you're a very small rodent, perhaps. Klaassen, dot ball through to Salt. It's not been a while since we had a dot ball. In fact, England have purred along to 60 in the 7th over. Not looking in too much difficulties here. Klaassen turns again. Fuller ball on leg stump. Played through to mid-wicket. Some hesitation. But they think better of it. Dot ball.
Flying along. Nearly 10 and over.
Yep, that 40 overs might have been a bit pessimistic.
Yeah, I think that was very pessimistic of you.
It's the rogue buffaloes you have to watch out for, the ones who've been pushed out of the herd. Hippos will just go crazy if you get too near the lakeside at dusk. People think they're safe and they suddenly emerge and can outrun you.
And they're incredibly fast, aren't they?
Over a short
Very
distance.
fast, yeah. In comes Klaassen again. Big swing from Salt. Doesn't seem to connect. Another dot ball. The end of the over, England 60 for none at the end of the 7th. Current run rate 8.57, required 4.3.
Well, it'll probably settle down a bit after the power play. A bit of a US civil war on Twitter. Dr. Soothsayer is taking issue with Brian Barrish. I'll let them deal with that themselves. O'Neill Harris, salt, mustard, wood, pots, cook, root. English cricket serves up a meal. I don't think Mustard played. Mustard didn't play for England, I don't think.
He played for the one day team. Yeah, Mustard did.
Yeah, years
he
ago.
He did. Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected, yeah.
Yeah, there's not. The thing is, there's not a lot of food in there, though, is there? Apart from root vegetables. You got lots of salt, mustard, wood to cook it.
There's Alan Lamb. There's Beefy Both.
Oh yeah, cool.
Just throw those two in.
Yeah, then you're starting to get a roast. That's good.
In comes. Who's this taken over? Have we got a new bowler on?
Yeah, we have.
It is Van Meekeren making his debut, I think I'm right in saying. Is that correct?
I don't think it's a debut. Anyway, he sounds like this. Don't know what
he's not making his debut. He's got 7 ODIs going all the way back to 2013 under his belt. He's got a very healthy economy rate, 4.4. Comes in for his second ball, and this one's flicked through to the square leg region, down to the man on the boundary by Roy. Assume they come back for 2.
Not a lot of ODIs in that much time, is it?
Really? No, well, they're playing
not sure what the story is there.
Well, I should think a lot of their internationals weren't even classified as ODIs going back to 2013.
On the other hand, Peter Sellers managed to register 56 by the age of 30.
They're wondering what happens now.
Yeah, what?
Sorry, that was something on Crick Info.
That's well pitched up on middle stump, flicked very nicely by a characteristic Jason Roy shot, but straight to the man at deep long leg, and he just gets a single off it. He moves to 25. Van Meekeren, yes, an average of 31.1 with the ball in ODIs. He's played 46 T20s though, at an average of 22 and an economy rate of 7, which is reasonably healthy actually. And that one's dug in, and it's pulled by Salt, but it bisects the 2 sweepers on the boundary for 4 of these.
It's a good shot, that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Got well on top of it. This could be done in 25 overs.
Could be. Well, you're not going to get as much joy bowling shorts to these 2 batsmen.
No.
Or probably any English batsman.
No. Well, they can't set a world record, can they? So I'll just do it as quick as possible.
Not today. Bit of a shame. A shame they broke the record, but didn't get 500.
Van Meekeren in again. Gets Salt in a little bit of difficulties here, and they think of an appeal, rather a half-hearted one. Ball goes through the point region off Salt's pad. He's still got his arm in the air, Van Meekeren. DRS timer is going down, but I don't think Edwards is interested.
No, it's going down leg side, wasn't it?
You would have thought so. A moral victory for the bowler.
It's hit him high on the back thigh. May well have been in line, but it looks like it's going down and high.
Would have been wide end. High, wide and handsome.
That was dismissive.
Last ball of the over is pulled well ahead of leg. Very nice crisp shot from Salt. Salty crisp shot there. 4 off the last ball of the over. No screen is showing me the score at the moment, but England, suffice it to say, going very well. 72 for none at the end of the 8th.
do find it weird that they're still using this advert.
We're getting these. You may not be able to see it. We're getting these hair restoration ads quite a lot. Once again, we're being treated to Graham Gooch's post-restoration bouffant and a bit of Shane Warne bants. Cricketers suffer disproportionately from hair loss, apparently.
They're all wearing helmets
hats
all the time.
day and helmets, yeah.
I can't think of another example of an ad, but I've carried on using it. Oh, poor fella's
died. That's what.
Popped his clocks. Very, very strange. It's spin time. It's Tim Pringle.
Timmy Pringle.
Timmy Pringle is coming on to bowl. He's got a studious look about him.
He certainly does, and he has a jingle, if I can find him. Where is he? There he is. Sounds like this. Talk over top of it.
In left arm classical, slightly slingy action actually, round the wicket, and Salt paddles it round just a deep square leg and picks up a single.
He's from the hay.
Pringle, I think Pringle made his debut last time and got a solitary wicket, so he's off the market in ODIs.
He's serviceable, isn't he? Both left arm darts. There's a lot of ODI.
A little bit
bowls.
slingy, a little bit sort of like Chris Gale trajectory. And that's stroked quite nicely. Just to the wide of the man at mid off by Roy. Picks up a single. And what's happening here?
That was that was his wicket.
That was his wicket from previously, yes. That's full and in the block hole, but Salt manages to get it wide of the man in the covers, down to the man at wide long off, and picks up another single. So 3 singles for the first 3 balls, and Pringle's over. In for the 4th ball. And that's pitched shorter and clipped through mid-wicket for another single, this time by by Roy. He moves on to 31 off 28.
I mean, if they're happy with 6 and over, they can milk this all day.
Good if they so chose. Salt assaults that ball, and there's a misfield at mid-off, and it goes all the way through to the boundary for 4 of these.
I thought someone had fielded that, but clearly not.
Cooper misfield.
Seems like a young Alan Lamb, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Seems to be more of a Dutch contingent, perhaps, or maybe the camera's just picking them out today. He seems quite jolly. Fair enough. Pringle for the last ball of the over, and Salt just rocks onto the back foot this time, gets it down to the man at mid-off and keeps the strike. He moves on to 45, Roy's on 31, England 81 for no wicket at the end of the 9th. We've got 1 over left between us.
We do indeed. And then we'll have a switch around crew. I think, are you doing ball by ball next?
I'm going on to ball by ball.
Yeah, Jason's going to take over from me, and Messers is going to come in and read your socials, but that's an over away.
Poor bit of fielding there from Cooper. This went straight through him.
Be another 10 overs before I can go back and check on the chess, see how that's going.
You still going? How many games are you playing at the moment?
I've finished all my games.
Right.
It's the candidates at the moment to see who can the next challenger.
So do you go? Are you through? Is there?
No, I got through 2 rounds, and I got to the 3rd round of mine, and it's not quite finished, but I'm not going to go through that.
Oh, okay.
I did okay.
The last ball of our stint together, Van Meekeren broaches the crease. Salt taps his bat, and that's a very classical looking off drive, a very attractive looking shot, almost straight for 4 of these.
That went like a tracer bullet.
49 off 27.
Yeah, Salt be thinking, I wish we were batting first, and that 200 might have been on again.
Well, yeah.
He's looking good. He's looking good. Maybe they've... it's time for him to cement his
There's nothing.
place in the
you could
side.
score 1 million runs in this series and not get in ahead of Roy and Bairstow.
Well, no, that's true, but you could put yourself in. Yeah, I mean, you look back at the World Cup in 2019 after this.
In from Van Meekeren. And man at point manages to block off the run, so he stays on 49 Salt.
So if you had someone when Jason Roy got injured in the World Cup and we have fucking James Vincent, it all went tits up. Now
I think he's already in that role. That he'll be He'll be a
well, exactly, and so,
batsman.
I mean that's where you should have had Hales, and if they're not going to go back to Hales, you can nurture someone like Phil Salt to be the ready-made. There'll be times when one of them's injured, and if you can cement his place as the alternative.
Yes, yeah.
Well, he's doing himself no harm here. 122 in the first match, 77 in the second, and now he's one way away from another half-century in the third. Couldn't have done much more.
And in fact, when Bairstow went up to open for England, it was a three-way fight, wasn't it, between Hales, Roy and Bairstow? And at times one of them would go out of form and the other two would cement their place, then one of them lose form, the other guy would come in, bat well, and he'd keep his place. You know, it's good to have competition.
Oh, definitely.
Van Meekeren again.
No, I bowled him.
And he's bowled him.
Up. Yep.
There is to be no third half century. Straight through a gap. He played all round it. Clean bowled. And Salt departs for 49.
On your bike, mate.
Just played down the wrong line. Straight
Yeah,
balls,
he
as I
did.
can
He
see.
trying to work it too square, wasn't he? Bat didn't come down straight. That's one-day cricket for you.
Yeah, just a loose shot, really.
Yeah. Oh well. Good start for England. 85 for 1.
What can we do to screw him? Move him up to 3. What can we do to screw him? Move him up to 3.
Is that referring to tests?
I think so.
It must be, because he's not being screwed in
No,
white
I
ball
know.
cricket.
I just kind of picked it out.
He's being the opposite.
I picked it out because it was an alternative to the one I'd heard loads and loads and loads.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting bored of that one. I might have to go back to the other one. But this is the last. This is the last ODI for a little while. I might change it around for the next one. And presumably, when we're back in England playing, we got a whole load of stuff against the Indians, didn't we?
3
T20s,
T20s, 3 ODI. It might be 5 ODIs even.
I don't know. There's a lot of them.
Maybe 3, but I think it's 3 of each.
The test comes first, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which they'll probably be completely undercooked for. In fact, I imagine they certainly will.
Well, India will.
Yeah. I mean, this is it. I mean, they've just finished an ODI series, haven't they, against South Africa in India.
A couple of them are playing county cricket.
Yeah.
Pajara. Is someone else playing county cricket?
I don't think any of the bowlers are. There might be another batsman somewhere.
Bizarrely at the age.
That's county cricket knowledge for you.
Rather bizarrely at the age of 34, this is only Dawid Malan's 9th ODI, and his century he scored in this series was his first century. He takes guard now against Van Meekeren. Strokes it out very nicely, but straight to the man covers. And we've got one ball left between the three of us.
Well, presumably that's because Joe Root is normally number 3, isn't he? And I would have Joe Root over Dawid Malan any day of the week at number 3.
Except that I'd just like Joe Root to concentrate on his Test match career from now on. I don't want getting confused. Maybe it was. Maybe
I think he's too good. I think there are certain players, and he's one of them.
Ooh, no, I bowled him as well.
That's a terrible shot.
Van Meekeren has got 2 wickets in an over. He's just clean bowled Dawid Malan, who came across his stumps, got too far over, and was bowled round his legs. He's out for a duck off 2 balls. Van Meekeren's got 2 wickets in 3 balls, well, I'm not saying the match has been turned on its head, not by any means, but 2 cricket wickets have fallen.
That's a very strange shot.
Yeah, it's kind of unnecessary, wasn't it? He just went too far across, trying to work it too far down the leg side. Just kick it off your hip for one.
To be fair, Josie Oak said the collapse is on before that wicket. So
well done, Josie Oak, for picking that. The end of the 10th over in Netherlands, 85-2. I shall love you and leave here and head bedwards, 20 to midnight here in Melbourne. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
See you for the next match.
You can't go to bed yet. You have to learn a little more about Australia's fundamental industries, which are still significantly agricultural, but to not know that Australia exports massive amounts of wheat is a big failing. Your citizenship might be revoked.
My apologies, Jez. I'll leave you in much. I'll leave our listeners in much safer hands. Bye for now.
See ya.
All right, 10 overs gone, and England have suddenly, as Josie Oak said, initiated the collapse button.
Well, that woke me up. I was having a nice snooze in there, and suddenly all hell broke loose.
It did, and it's time for the captain to come to the crease.
Pryor ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone Sutler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Buttler. Joss Buttler. Just because he is Joss Buttler. 1 S and 2 T's, Joss Buttler.
And he is not going to face up immediately. It's going to be Jason Roy, 31 of 28. Going to face up to the bespectacled Tim Pringle. Left arm round. Keeper just holds him up for a second.
Not for long with Mr. Pringle. He seems to have a very quick action.
Is he another quick bowler, as in getting through the over quickly?
A bit of both. There's not a lot of run-up. There's not a lot of...
Ooh, a bit of an edge from Jason Roy, but it's beaten the keeper. It's going to go down very quickly. I think his boundary's speeding up for 4. A little bit of a false shot, but got away with it. And got away with it to the maximum, in that you can't really edge the ball for 6 off a spinner. Pringle's in again, as you say. Only a couple of barely gets into his action at all, and that one is pushed past mid-wicket up to long on. Should be an easy single.
I have to say, I think he's actually slowing up a bit at the moment, and in the last international he was really getting through his overs, bowling very darty left-arm round bowling.
We might not have mentioned that Dawid Malan was bowled off stump behind his legs. It's not the best look. Don't know why he did that second ball of his innings.
Is this another one of these, we've got to get outside off stump to play the shot pieces of rubbish?
Well, I guess, but
that they've been infused by their coaching cadre.
Not that far though. And people in the crowd wearing 4 hats for some reason. Dawid Malan, thanks for coming today. 50 overs in the field, 2 balls to bat. Been there many times. Buttler pushes that one up to mid-on. There's no run.
It just means you can go back and have the tea you didn't have at half time.
And usually in my case means that, oh, can you go out and umpire? Oh, fuck's sake. So it's my fault for getting out. That one's pushed up to long off by Buttler. He's away with a single. We had one a couple of Sundays ago where there was a wicket and one of the umpires needed to come in, and the captain just stood up, looked at everyone who was seated around him, went, ugh, and walked out to umpire. Been there many times as well. Pringle to complete the over, he will hope. He will. It's outside off stump and it's punched away by Roy out to the sweeper for another single. 7 runs off the over, 92 for 2. Jez, are you back on Twitter?
I am indeed. Anthony Caggiano is with us. He says, good evening from a freezing cold Canberra, Australia. Love listening to the commentary. Keep up the good work, gentlemen. Thank you, Anthony. Lovely to have you with us.
What is a freezing cold Canberra? About 25 degrees?
No, you can get down to -4, -5 degrees in Canberra at night in winter. Really does get chilly there. You ask Angelic Scooters or Spinner Grace, they both live in Canberra, they'll tell you all about it. Armchair Cricket Podcast, the speed at which England were hurtling along, one was worried for one stint on guerrilla cricket between overs 31 to 40. One was worried, getting a bit royal there, Ajit. Now with Phil Salt gone and Dawid Malan, a well-recognised slow starter, one still hopes, but there's still Jason Roy.
Well, he was a slow starter but a quick finisher, Dawid Malan today. Van Meekeren is unsurprisingly in again, inside edge out to deep square. Mr. Van Meekeren, why does he not have a Rent-A-Ghost jingle? That's what I'd have gone for. Just because that's a great theme tune.
I don't even know what Rent-A-Ghost means.
Rent-A-Ghost is a
it's
children's
a 1980s children's program, which
yes.
Well,
quite surreal, really.
Yes.
Quite, it had its moments.
No, the beach ball is out again.
Or it'll be the beer snake in a minute.
That is one thing that doesn't happen anymore in English crowds. I'm glad to lose.
Which one?
The beer snake.
Oh, the beer snake's been absolutely banned, and correctly. Right, Netherlands moving the field round. They're putting a slip in for Buttler. Why not? Go for the attack. Slip and a backward point.
You're just as likely to catch him there as anywhere else inside the pitch.
Yeah. As in comes Van Meekeren. Wide or thrashed away by Buttler. There should be a man out there, and there is, but very nicely timed. Just be single.
Just on that weather, I can tell you that the current temperature in Canberra is 1.1 degrees. Feels like minus 2.1.
It
and
feels.
Thredbo, which is a ski resort a little way away, feels like minus 12. So there you go.
Okay. Van Meekeren is in again. To Roy, who clips into the leg side. They may look for two. They're both very quick, but I think they're going to settle for one.
I think the last thing you want at this stage is to run out your premier one-day cricketer, an informed batsman.
Set, yes. I was just thinking that feels like minus 2 means it feels twice as cold, but it doesn't, does it?
Yeah, that'd be serious if it got to minus 30.
Clipped into the leg side by Buttler. No one. I'll field this one. Josie Oak says, what's wrong with a beer snake? Well, try sitting in front of one when all the stale beer from 100 pint glasses pours down the back of your neck, Josie Oak. Then come back to us on what's wrong with a beer snake.
Oh, they're just stupid.
It has been replaced instead by millions and millions of youngsters going around trying to rapaciously grab any available empty...
Oh, because you get 10p for them or something, yeah.
A pound.
Yeah, well, that's an excellent idea.
Well, yeah, as Jason says, not when they're fighting each other for them, and you're going, I haven't finished that. Played up to mid-on for no run.
Fair point.
I mean, it's coming to the case sometimes where they come out with a net profit on the day, having been to the cricket.
Yeah, well, these incentives can work with funny ways. Look what happens.
Well, drunks give away their money fairly easily, don't they?
Yes, look up. There's a very interesting case study of cobras in India and how they were paying people to kill them and how that went wrong in so many ways. That one's played to backward point and it's thrown past the non-striker's end. Someone must be backing up. Yep, end of the over. 95 for 2 off 12.
Yeah, I guess when you can breed something you're getting a bounty for, it's not a real good idea.
That's the first thing that happens, yes. And then they stopped giving the bounty, so they just released all the snakes into the wild.
Oh, brilliant. Leah says the Australian economy is basically the same as Russia's, or that of a moderately mismanaged Gulf state. We sell shit that comes out of the ground. Even Bangladesh manufactures stuff. Well, there's a lot of truth in that, for sure. Brown Barry says at least beer snakes won't kill you, which is... probably true unless you find something.
In Australia, they probably do. They probably have venomous beer snakes.
I don't think we have beer snakes here anymore either. I'm not sure.
Well, no, because you shut the bar about halfway through the afternoon, if I remember.
A good idea. I mean, you look at that crowd on Sunday at Amsterdam. They should have been stopped. The beer should have been turned off several hours before the end.
Several hours before the beginning, probably.
Yeah.
Right, Pringle is going to continue. Left arm around to Jason Roy. Flat on middle and leg. Played back to the bowler for no run. He almost bowls as quick as his dad, if I remember correctly. Although he was a seamer. Flat again, and Roy punches it into the offside. It's going to go out to the sweeper. Just a single, little bit of a fumble. I think a few players have been having trouble with the outfield. But no damage there, it's just a single. Seems to be a little bit of a breeze blowing across there. As Pringle is in again, but it's nice and sunny. Josh Buttler crouches down and again taps it into that gap on the offside for a single.
Yeah, he's just getting his eye in before it hits the big red bang button.
The big red go button, which I think happened after about 15 balls on two games ago when he got that 150.
Yeah.
Roy facing up this time. And punches it into the offside, but that one's straight to cover. There's no run.
Yes, that followed him. That was the arm ball, I think.
Yeah. Good over so far from Pringle, just the 2 from 4 balls.
And we can see Dutch Bird in the corner there.
Oh, we could. Reverse sweep. And I almost thought that was going to go straight to Gully for a moment. It must have just bounced in front of him. But yeah, Pringle forcing a more risky shot from Jason Roy. And it almost, well, we couldn't see, but it might almost have hopped up into Gully's hands. And that's going to be outside the leg, and he may have released the pressure there. Yes, he did. Roy was able to sweep that behind square for 4.
2 + 2 is on man.
I can tell you that speaking of collecting beer glasses or mugs, Josh says he picked up 30 to 40 on the last day of the Ireland Test at Lords a few years back. Not bad, given that the tickets only cost 20 quid and got refunded because it was all over so quickly. Oh, that doesn't quite sound right.
England need 144 to win in a lot of overs, 37. We've got some fat dad dancing in the stands. And the much more slender Van Meekeren is going to come back in. Short ball pushed down into the offside by Buttler. Decent short ball, didn't sit up to be hit. It was really more back of a length. One of the Dutch players going through his paces on the sidelines. I think that might be... Is that Cooper? I'm not sure. They take their little breaks these days.
Does seem wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, I saw David Willey just sat down having a drink after 10 overs of England's innings in the field, and that's at a quarter of a chance for Van Beek, and it beats him. It beats mid-off. Mid-off may have got a finger on it, and it beats the man chasing round from mid-on as well. So he's managed to beat 3 fielders with that shot, but he still gets 4. Maybe a tenth of a chance for the bowler if he'd had extendable Inspector Gadget arms.
For those people that are old enough to remember, that's a Phil Bennett of a ball. He's just beaten 3 men.
Oh, right, okay. And then it went, oh, great dummy.
That's the one.
Right, sorry about that. Everyone is under 55. Van Meekeren comes in. And hauled away by Buttler. That's the first time he's opened his shoulders. It's gone over mid-on. 1 bounce for 4.
Yeah, it's just basically bowled onto the bat of Buttler there. He didn't have to do anything apart from just lengthen his stride.
Mid-on was up.
Very much.
Mid-on was up, so very comfortably into the open spaces. I expect if the Netherlands didn't have the minimum in the circle, they do now. Van Meekeren just hit for those 2 boundaries, goes a bit shorter, well bowled. Buttler chops it down past Gully. He'll get at least 1. It will be 1. And it's 110 for 2 in the 14th over, and that's amazing what happens when you get such a quick start. Even with a couple of wickets, you just cruise along a bit and you're way ahead of the rate.
Yes, well, you build yourself time to play yourself in, and then whilst the new guy's there, the settled batsman can just work it around, pick off the bad balls, and then the new one is ready to go.
Buttler looking a bit ominous, and Roy likes it there on the pads. Long leg is going to get round to pick that one up. It'll just be a single. 10 off the over so far with 1 ball to go.
Roy spent a little while stretching his somewhat problematic hamstring on occasions.
Well, he should have a couple of weeks off before the I dare say I'll go back and stroll through some county games for Surrey if they have any.
He will go back and play the last T20 match, I would imagine. Perhaps the last 2. He might be available for the one next Friday. Of course, Surrey have already qualified for the T20 later stages.
Van Meekeren is in, and it's kind of punched back down the wicket. Buttler to mid-on. End of the over, 111 for 2 off 14. Just briefly, and to mention the dreaded H word, are they finishing the Blast League stages before the 100 starts?
Yes, they are.
That would make some sense.
But I think Roy may be tangled up in the international games that are follow on fairly shortly after the
there's India one test against India, and then they're playing some, we said they're playing some white ball stuff against India. 3 each, I think, 3 T20s, 3 ODIs, which will of course all be covered here.
Absolutely. There's also a women's test coming up shortly as well, isn't there? Katie's with us. Hello, Katie. Agree with you about the beer snake, but I love the kids' beer glass hunting. It makes me feel like I live in the 1950s. Wasn't all that was cracked up to be, Katie.
Pringle is
Leah,
back.
that temperature stuff. Oh, sorry.
Pringle is back. It's flayed out to cover. A good bit of fielding. There's no run. Yeah, it's hard to get much in between two Pringle deliveries. He's a bit like Jadeja in that respect. Probably the only respect in which he is. His left arm spin is like Jadeja. With respect, that one's punched out to cover again. No run. He's again tossed up a little bit more, and that's a little bit of a false shot, but it goes through mid-off up to long-off, and it'll just be a single.
That was well bowled. He actually held that one back and
gave
it a bit more air.
He did, just to show me. And that is the fielder who was off the field a moment ago, whichever one it is. Comes in again, that's flatter again, and the thick edge from Buttler is going to go from 4. There ain't no justice. Yeah, he was bowling quite a good over there, and just got a thickish, almost bottom edge, toe end of the bat. Down for 4. Adil Rashid not paying too much attention to the batting, talking to someone about something in a very involved way. Flatter again from Pringle, clipped into the leg side from Buttler. It's going to beat mid-wicket, and you're going to get at least 2 to the wide open spaces there. Should be a comfortable 2.
Yeah, and as if, out of nowhere, Butler's motored to 18 or 14 balls.
Yep, and he's only really opened his shoulders once so far. I think Adil Rashid is helping some youngsters with their game. Pringle comes in again, a little bit fuller. Played into the onside by Buttler for no run. 7 off the over, 118 for 2 off 15.
That was quick. Leah says that temperature stuff doesn't work in Celsius. It's not an absolute scale. Kelvin is.
Yes, well done on spotting the joke.
16k is indeed double as warm as 8k. Trouble with that is then you get to say, well, 40 degrees is only 1% warmer than 20 degrees or whatever it works out to, and it doesn't feel right then either. Katie, in Australia they probably have venomous beer snakes. Great quote on Guerrilla Cricket. And the Naked Porn Bot says, big red bang button, click here.
Well, what's wrong with the old imperial system? The freezing point of water is 32 and the boiling point is 212. What could be simpler? Jason Roy clubs that one up towards mid-on. There's no run. Or indeed more intuitive.
Yes, and I'd love to know how many stones you weigh.
How many rods to the farthing you get, absolutely.
Yes. How many furlongs is a cricket pitch?
1/10.
Yes, it is, probably.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, lovely shot by Roy. He's the one who's going up. Oh, well, actually, he didn't really get all of that. And the fielder is back from mid-on to haul it in. I thought that had gone a lot more furlongs than it did. But the fielder was able to pull it back for 2.
Yes, a cricket pitch is a chain, which is 1/10.
I think you're right. Yeah, furlong's 220 yards, because there's 8 of them in a mile.
Yep.
You see, it's completely natural.
Of course, yeah. 8, 10, whatever. 12, 3. God knows who thought that up.
We'll be talking about things in guineas soon.
Dropped down into the offside by Jason Roy. And it's just gone into no man's land, and they'll pick up a single.
My first ever bicycle cost 15 guineas.
Yes, a guinea was 21 shillings, of course.
Yes. That's not a lot to do with the guinea pig.
No. Roy on 49, Buttler on 18, 121 for 2. Van Meekeren took 2 wickets in 3 balls with England on 85, but it didn't slow them down all that much. They're still close to 8 and over. As Van Beek comes back in to bowl to Buttler. It's in the. I thought Buttler was going to go for that one, but instead he's just stroked it through extra cover for 4. There was no need to do any more than that.
Just a lovely little swoosh, wasn't it?
Yeah, just leaned on that one. And once it beat short extra cover, it was gone. And Van Beek, no, I think it was Van der Lede who really took the stick in the first. Well, they all took stick in the first one in the end, but it was Van der Lede in particular. Van Beek's now bowled 3.4 overs, none for 42. Phil Salt got after him in 1 over. Buttler just taps that into the leg side, and that's going to be a dot ball as mid-wicket is round. England more than halfway to their target in the 16th over. And it's been a pretty chastening series for the Netherlands, really, but can't be helped. Hopefully they can learn something from it. Ooh, slow short ball dug into the pitch, and Buttler rather gets a bottom edge down into nowhere behind square leg. They'll pick up a single. It's 8 off the over. It's 126 for 2 off 16. England need 120 more.
Brian Barish has very helpfully sent us a chart, which I think quite usefully shows the difference between Fahrenheit, Celsius and Kelvin. Fahrenheit 0 is really cold outside, 100 is really hot outside. Celsius is 0 is fairly cold outside, 100 is dead. And Kelvin is 0 is dead, 100 is dead.
That's right.
I think that does it pretty well, really. John Alford said, "Hi guys, from a cool Madrid at only 25, given it was 40 last week. It's overcoat weather. Has anyone else mentioned that these venues in the Netherlands look like proper cricket grounds?" Well, it is indeed. They play cricket there all year round. Well, sorry, all summer. It's a beautiful ground.
Yeah, but I know you might like to see more bucolic grounds, but then again, when it's in use more regularly, you have to fit more than 3,000 people in. True. Right, going to be a change of bowling. Going to be this man.
Coming from the depths of Amsterdam, it's Aryan Dutt. It's Aryan Dutt.
It sure is. He's going to bowl to Jos Buttler. Much longer run up than Tim Pringle, although it would be hard to get a shorter one. That's a little bit short, and Buttler punches it to cover. Good bit of fielding and no run.
He's still got a shorter run up than me. He's got 5 steps.
Yeah. You've got quite a loping and rhythmical run up, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
It's because he starts on his run up and hits his mark straight away, whereas I have to walk to my mark.
That's defended by Buttler. There's no run again. Well, the only time I've seen you bowl, he took about 6 for 10 for the Gorillas against the Guardian OBO. Modestly not adding any context to that. Oh, hit him outside line, I think. Went for a little paddle sweep, Buttler. It hit him on. They come through for 2 because the fielders were maybe a little bit too busy appealing and not enough chasing the ball. They actually picked up 2 leg byes to the square leg umpire there.
I'll only say one thing about that, and it was something like 14 aside, so anything in the air was liable to be caught.
It was even in the oldest slip cordon in the world. Were you bowling when Fred took that remarkable slip catch? Yes. It was a slip cordon of Hendo the Bear, not Fred Titmus, and I think someone else who was also adding a bit of tonnage.
Busfield.
Yes. That one's pulled round to deep square. A little bit of a misfield. They'll get back for 2.
Busfield, who I might add, has reached the second stage of interviews for the position of chair of the, is it the ECB chair they're looking for at the moment?
Okay, I thought that was a joke application, so it's done well to get past the first stage. He's
had a first round interview from the headhunters who are doing it, and has tweeted about that today.
Okay. Dutt beats Buttler outside off stump, kind of. Well, it goes through to the keeper and he played a shot, so I suppose he did.
It might be the one and only time that I have 3 slip catches as a spinner.
Yes, it paid off.
But yes, a glorious day, all in benefit of the Junior Diabetes Research Fund.
Yes, yes it was. Dutt comes in again. Oh, goodness me. Off the back foot, Buttler just levers this up over mid-off. Not over long off, because mid-off was up, but it only bounced about a yard or 2 in front of the rope. He just went into a position for a back foot punch and then launched it over mid-off. The result is just one of these. We're going to have drinks.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Right, what's on Twitter then, Jez?
So Leah says, reintroducing the stone would probably fly with Tory women. I weigh 2 stone, but they are both 150 kilo plonkers means nothing. And Brian is back again, also known as Huge Spinner, says, in relation to the Kelvin scale, I think my ex-mother-in-law's heart was 100k, but that may have only been for me. It's a little sad. So we're up to date on Twitter. Suda Who and Stephen Kilker are active on YouTube. That's sort of an internal discussion. I think it's a good time to mention Patreon, though. And I spoke earlier about the Bear and the Bishop podcast, which all patrons get. If you're a $5 or £4 patron, you also get access to the Smaximum, which is a weekly report drawn up by Gorilla Hendo with a lot of assistance from other gorillas, which is a really good read, and it's informative, opinionated, and very funny, with Tales from the Green Room sometimes being quite an interesting expose of what's going on.
Come on, what happens in the green room stays in the green room. What's this?
Not when there's money involved.
Yeah, evidently.
It's all in very good humour, I might add, but it's a good read each week, and it's something you get if you're a £4 or $5 Patreon, and I can highly recommend that. We'd ask you to go to patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket and consider becoming a part of our family that way.
Great mystery of our age on TV. Why did James Corden become famous A, anywhere, and B, in America?
Yeah,
Jesus.
You wonder, don't you?
Yeah.
Katie says imperial measurements are great for knowing that if your square has 66 pitches in it, then you can plough it with 1 ox in a day. But it's completely impractical for real life use.
Except on an ox farm.
Yeah, presumably. Of which there aren't that many left.
Surely there should have been a cricketing imperial measure called the strip.
Well, it's a chain, isn't it?
That's what a chain is, isn't it? I mean,
it is a chain, but the chain was a measure of a ploughing distance.
But that was probably the only way they could standardise lengths, because everybody had a measurement of a chain. That's my speculation, anyhow.
Well, still on a drinks break, that's why we're wittering about oxen and chains and so on.
So, Phil Salt up for 49, and has he done enough to keep anybody else out of the team? I suspect not.
No, I don't think so.
He's done really well.
I think he's probably, he and Livingstone are the leading people at the cab rank of people. If people should
exactly
fall ill.
Salt for the top 3, Livingstone for the middle order, although Livingstone really should be playing instead of Morgan, but
I mean, I am disappointed slightly that Jax didn't get a shout in this series, who's playing very well for Surrey this year and is a fantastic cricketer.
It's a tough lineup to break into.
Exactly.
Van Beek is back, and that one is punched out to point by Jason Roy, who will bring up his 50 milestones.
Don't stop just 'cause you got to 50. Don't stop, treat it as a start. You can use this to get a better score. The first 50's done. The first 50's done.
Van Baker's in again, and that's just dropped down by Buttler, who sort of gestures for a run to Roy, but Roy didn't fancy it that time.
You are confusing me there, because you've now confused me with two different imperial measurements in one go.
How so?
A mile and a stone.
A mile and a stone.
There you
yes,
go.
exactly. Yeah.
So
a milestone is
that's where you're headed, to multiple confusion if you go back.
Attempted ramp by Buttler, missed it. We haven't really seen a successful ramp today, which maybe is perhaps because of the slowness of the wicket, but I think he might be better just trying to club it into the stands.
Of course, is it traditional that the milestones, as they were, always showed the distance from London, certainly in the UK?
Yeah. As they still should today.
It's so useful. I love the UK. I remember we were driving on the motorways a few years ago and just seeing signs, not to anywhere in particular, except the south or the north.
The north,
because they're two different countries.
Buttler punches that out into the offside for a single. And Van Beek is doing a lot to reduce his economy rate. 4 balls for 2 runs this over.
It does remind me of the quote that they said about Americans and Englishmen after this ball.
That's dropped into the onside. It's going to be another dot ball.
Being two nations divided by the same language.
Well, exactly, yeah. Roy's on 50, Buttler on 30, both a touch over a runner ball. England are 136 for 2, coming to the end of the 18th over. Target is 245, they've almost got it down to double figures. And that's back to the bowler, kept a little bit low maybe. This wicket may just be dying a little bit. Van Beek's got away with that over for 2, he'll be very happy with that.
Ball's getting a bit softer as well, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Jay Grover's with us. Hello, Jay.
Hello,
I haven't
Jay.
heard from you today. He says, what on earth is an ox farm? Where do you think oxtail soup comes from?
A farm where you farm oxes. Duh.
Yeah. Jeff Perkins says Marks hated measuring cricket pitches as everyone had to make sure they didn't lose their chains. And Smarty says, I think we should also consider the smoot unit of measurement if we are discussing random measures, and gives us a Google link to whatever a smoot might happen to be, which I'll learn about in the next over.
Someone's handing out some yummy boiling hot Scotch eggs in the crowd. I think I'll pass. As Dutt comes back in. Short ball and played up to short mid-wicket for no run.
Very whippy arm action on that one. There was no front arm sword, just seemed to come out of nowhere.
Yep. Here he comes again. Shorter and again punched into the offside. It's going to be another single. That man's being very busy out at deep cover point.
That's
off the spinner.
Klaassen, yeah, I thought it must be.
Yeah, one of those where you get sound out there and you think, ugh, I'm getting like 3 balls and over out here. I know you should want the ball in the field, but I don't. Perhaps that's half my problem. Dutt is back in again. Oh, and it may have been a chance. Certainly flashed past Jason Roy. Bounced out of the gloves of the wicketkeepers. Gone for 4. We'll see what the umpire says. It was 4 somethings. Was it 4 runs and a potential chance? I think it was. Oh yes, he did get a fairly healthy edge on that, so you can't blame the keeper too much. Would have been a good catch. Fair deflection on that one. And again, a little bit of a false shot from Jason Roy. He hasn't looked 100% secure. He's pulled that one away though. It's only along the ground out to deep square though for a single. Getting rid of ultra edge. It was fairly obvious to the eye, at least on slow motion, that had caught the edge.
Obvious from the reaction of the keeper, to be fair.
That's what I thought initially, yes, yeah. I mean, you can't give people out on player actions, at least anymore at international level. Now, Roy's got hold of that one. Has it gone far enough? Sure has. It's into the stand. It's going to be one of these.
Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6.
Well, he hasn't lost that one, but it may take a while to get it back underneath the stand.
Is that the first 6 of the innings?
I think it might be.
I think it might. They're rattling along, but I think that might be the first 6. Flatter again, and up and over from Buttler. Might be the second 6, you know. No, it's a yard inside the rope again. But again, he gets in a position to play a back foot punch, and he levers it over mid-off. It's quite a remarkable shot.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a pretty safe shot as well when mid-off is up.
Yes, it was the first 6 of the match, in fact.
In fact, it was Buttler who hit the previous ball for 6, of course, not Jason Roy.
I mean, that looks like a 6 for the outside edge, to be fair, but he's timed the pants off it.
Yep, I think that one's just bounced inside. And that over's gone for 16. So England putting the pedal to the metal once again. They're 152 for 2 off 19. And they need 93 off 186 at exactly 3 and over should they decide to take their time. But they won't. They want to come back in and have some lovely Scotch eggs.
They're not actually Scotch eggs. They showed the inside. It wasn't Scotch
no,
eggs.
I'm not quite sure what it was. It doesn't look great though. That was clubbed up to mid-off by Jason Roy. Mid-off picks it up and there's no run. Van Beek continues.
Between balls, I'll fit in the Jersey Jingler, aka Senor Peel, has a love letter to James Corden, which I'll read out after the next ball.
You know it's not your day when you bowl 5 overs for 45 and you don't get taken off.
yeah, not very helpful. Roy creeps down the wicket but ends up just dropping that into the leg side and that'll be a single.
So he says, James Corden is arrogant, loud, an attention seeker, reeks of unearned privilege, lacks social grace, and can't laugh at himself. Seems to fit perfectly to be consumed by the masses in America. I, however, find him to be an insufferable Bradman.
Well, I'm perplexed why a lot of people are famous, but doubly so with James Corden. Really can't see it. Short ball again, that's only barely got above stump high. Not like that tennis ball bounce we saw before. And Buttler just helps it round to long leg for a single.
I'm a bit perplexed by most Tonight Show hosts, though, to be honest.
yeah. A bit perplexed by everything. Get off my lawn. Yeah.
Rabbit's getting cross with us. Says ox farm is where you cultivate oxen, not oxes.
No.
There's nothing sacred.
Fair point. Fair point, well made. Jason Roy's missed that one. He's gone for the uppercut. That one did come through a little bit from Van Beek. It's a bit of an uneven bounce, I think. Which is just affecting the fluency of some of the cross-bat shots.
And Van Beek does occasionally collapse when he does deliver the ball, which tends to
accentuate that bounce, yeah.
Well, it
or
means
the opposite.
You expect it to be hitting the deck harder than it actually is.
Yeah.
It comes off with a soft plop rather than anything else.
Yep. Roy's back on strike and he's very good at working the ball off his legs and he'll pick up a comfortable single there. Flat throw, skips up to the wicket keeper. Van Beek again got away with 3 from 5 balls. Batsman piling more into the spin at the other end at the moment. This is going to be the last ball of this little spell. I may not be back 10 overs from now because England only need 90 to win.
Same here.
But if we are, then we'll see you then. But England, after that burst of 2 wickets, now looking fairly comfortable. Short ball, Buttler plays it back down the wicket. There's no run. It's going to be the Bears going to come back. Jason, you're going to say, and Hattie is hopefully going to join us, and that's because I have to...
you have to let her in.
Admit her, which I think I have done. Okay, catch you in a bit.
Are you on tweets, Jason?
I am, yes.
Jay Graver is next.
Yes, thank
you.
you.
Catch you later.
Jay says, he's just perpetually perplexed. Well, that's many of us. Not least the bear, once he's trying to work out where his fags and his vape and his drink are and his microphone are at the same time.
Absolutely. And hello to Hattie. I can see the top of your head, but not you. There you are. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. I'm very well. Enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah, definitely.
It's quite
beautiful.
pleasant down here. You've been watching much of this?
I've caught, I didn't see any of the Netherlands innings, but I've been watching all of ours, so yeah.
Yeah, it's been a alright series, I think.
Pretty one-sided, although
one-sided,
it looked like that, but then the Netherlands haven't really disgraced themselves, although one of the commentators in the Sky was saying that their fielding has been pretty poor, but I thought they've done pretty well, actually.
They've not done too bad. It sounds really patronising. Tim Pringle is in, and Jason Roy has played it out of the leg side. He slipped, I think, for a second there. And it goes out to deep mid wicket. He'll get himself a single. England 156 for 2. 89 required of 179 deliveries. This should be done in 10 overs, you would have thought.
You would think so, absolutely. I mean, two well-set batsmen, and Buttler going along his merry way, and I mean, he always seems to have done well when he's been captain, hasn't he?
Yes, I can't remember what it's when. I think it's 5-3 or something. So that's punched out into the towards the boundary. It was fielded by the boundary rider as a single. Pringle comes in for the third ball of the over, and Jason Roy plays a similar sort of shot. It's kind of boring middle over stuff with an inevitable result at the moment.
It's always pleasing to see Jason Roy bat like this. When he's in form, he just seems to have so much time. He could just rock back onto his back foot and just play 3 offside just so easily, can't he?
Yeah, he is exciting to watch. As Josh Buttler slaps that one out to deep long off, and there's no run. He's quite a forceful batsman. You see more finesse in Buttler.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But he batters it, Jason Roy.
Yeah. Roy's kind of brute force, and Butler's just like, I would say, more talented with just more shots. But I mean, that's not being.
Yeah, it's not being. Yeah, they're both great ODI batsmen and limited overs batsmen. Played out by Roy towards the outer once again on the offside. They got themselves another single.
The one area where Roy has improved massively over the years is he's actually rotating the strike.
Yeah.
Yes.
He used to be
shit or bust. Yeah. Is that out? No. The way Buttler put his head down there, I thought he clipped it straight to mid-wicket and was out. He clipped it with an awful lot of wrist. It went out to mid-wicket and there's no run. Go Jace.
Josh Hoover, talking about short-form cricket, says, I've just saw the rules for the 60, i.e. 10 overs, to be played in West Indies in August. I just can't. Next, I expect a Super Over League where every match is just a Super Over.
Well, yeah, we've gone down this road before, Josh. I mean, it kind of sort of reverts to zero almost with cricket. The shorter the form, but then it just gets more toss of a coin, doesn't it? Go on.
O'Neill Harris says, I think the show slot, talking about the Tonight Show and the Late Show, automatically makes people famous. People have a late night tradition and they will watch whoever is there. Also, they want to see the interviews. They're not interviews, they're just time for people to plug something. These shows aren't for me, but the interviews can be interesting.
Well, we don't.
And also, welcome Hattie from O'Neill Harris as well.
Yeah. We're trying to do it. Jonathan Ross has his chat show, late night chat show, but it doesn't really work over here for some reason. Klaassen is. Was he bowled the previous over, or is he coming back, Jason? I was watching next door, but I can't remember if he bowled the last over.
This is a new
spell.
New spell. So Klaassen's come back, immediately pings. Oh, I thought that Roy on the pad, but maybe it was the outside edge of the bat. It goes out to cover anyway. There's no run.
I was making a comment in the previous over that you're having a bad way when you bowl 5 overs of 45 and don't get taken off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's a nice down of sun for some locals who are going, what's this? Maybe. Not such an English contingent today. Presumably it's Wednesday and they can't all get out there and have a jolly and stay there for the weekend. As Roy tries to work that in the leg side.
Don't do that, Jason. You could be out.
Handling the ball,
yes.
but it's dead, surely.
it's not dead unless it's in the bowler's hands or the keeper's hands. If you read the your laws.
If someone appealed from that in an international match, there'd be a fight.
There would be. And Jason Roy would be leading it on that.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just being nice.
Around the wicket again, and Jason Roy tries to paddle it down to fine leg. I think it probably came off. Maybe a bit of edge and pad. Ballooned up, no one got there to catch it anyway. They run through for a leg by. There's a leg by, so no bat on it. Doesn't look easy to score unless they put it in the right area for you to score off.
I get the feeling it's a lot easier to score if the ball is pitched up and you can hit through it.
Exactly.
It's a general principle, isn't it, really? Pitch
Well,
it
no,
up
sometimes it comes, short stuff comes on nicely and you play it off the back foot and do all the pulling and stuff. But this certainly doesn't seem a pitch like that.
No.
It's defended by Buttler.
He timed it sweetly, though, just wide of mid-off, though, really. So.
Yeah, that's very nicely timed. Gets himself a single. Score moves on to 162.
Just makes it look so easy. I mean, I watch with admiration with these guys. I mean, hopefully to get some advice for my own game. And I'm thinking, I could just do that, and with the fielding and stuff. And when it comes down to it, I just no.
Well, that's it. They make it look easy. Roy has a big heave at one. Goes inside the inside edge of his bat, I think. But he was well down the leg side, and the bowler followed him. Well done. And keeper takes it, no run.
Well done, Fred. You have annoyed Jason Roy enough for him to have a swipe at you.
Yeah, well, exactly. He's not been hitting it very fluently recently, has he? I mean, he was going off early. He went off quite quickly. But he's got to below a run of ball now. That's short. That's pulled. There is deep mid-wicket. It'll only be a single.
He's probably dropped anchor since Malan got out as well, and thought, well, you know what, Buttler will come in and do what he does, and so if he just wants to stay in and not get out, and not let the collapse happen, so.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just take it. Yeah, he'll probably. I think when they're closer to it, he'll probably step it up again.
I would think so. Yeah.
Go for it, Jace.
Jersey Jingle says, "Time for the boring middle over jingle." Did you do that one, Jersey Jingle?
No, we.
And Neymar Buttler says, "Can we use the Brucey form of appreciation to the Dutch? Good game, good game. Didn't they do well? Not too patronising."
Yeah. I disagree with people who say we shouldn't play these games.
And on YouTube,
reverse swept by Jason Roy, beats the man at short or in third man. Didn't hit it particularly well, but he's got enough of it. And it goes down to the boundary for 4 runs. It's a tricky one because these guys got to play these kinds of games, and we should, as greater nations, play these sides. But they aren't much of an event sometimes to watch.
And we should afford them respect of playing the strongest team that we think will comfortably win.
Yeah, and we have done that here. I mean, that's swept down towards fine leg and there's no run. I mean, there's people involved in the test side who obviously can't play. And when I saw the squad that came out here, I thought, Christ, that's a pretty strong squad we're sending out to play the Dutch, which is respectful, as that is crashed up to long off by Jason Roy, and he'll get himself another single. And they've proved how much. I mean, we are world champions, so yeah, we should be expecting to beat the Dutch. But they gain experience from it, and people get to up their averages and stuff if that's how they feel about the game. As that's defended back to Pringle for no run, 168 for 2.
Yes, we are world champions. We are also 50 over game is classed as a development game in this country.
Yeah, well, true. Worked into the leg side and out to mid wicket, and there's a single.
The Jersey Jingle has come back at you, Bay. He said, "Yes, I bloody did make that boring middle overs jingle. Took me quite a while to play all these, so too. Not that you going grateful B-stars ever play it."
Oh, crikey. I'm going to go and find it now, just for you. Slog swept by Jason Roy. Great shot, and it's gone down to the boundary for 4 runs. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to search for it. Give us some more tweets.
That is the last one, I'll look on YouTube. On YouTube, Josh Cooper says, I would appeal for that. And then laughed hysterically.
Oh, look at that. She's bringing something up to the commentary box.
It's like they're fried falafel or something like that with the curry dip.
They do look very nice, I have to say.
Right, I have found one. Whilst looking through. Oh look, we have. I've probably downloaded it twice because I couldn't find it before. There you go. It goes like this.
Batters won't get caught.
Oh yeah, we've had this
Team defensive shots. Baby, it's the boring middle overs. No one swings the bat. Not much to.
That's played into the leg side by Buttler that time, and there'll be a single. Yeah, sorry, Jersey Jingler. I have short-term memory loss. Of course, we've played that before, and I remember it. I just don't know where it is. So I found it again and downloaded it in another place. We haven't done ODIs for 11 months. That's my defence.
Just hearing Mamma Mia being sung by the crowd earlier, I was thinking, could probably change the words to Waterloo slightly and saying, Amstelveen, the Netherlands did surrender.
Ah, yes. Yes, I imagine so. Worked into the leg side, once again behind square by Roy, and it'll be a single.
So they require, what, 70 to win?
Of 160.
And there's about 71 runs possible for Roy to get a ton and Buttler to get a ton.
Interesting. That's worked into the offside by Buttler. Just laid up before going for a single. Well, yeah, that's a good point actually. I mean, Roy's got a good chance of getting a ton. Should take a few chances. I don't want to sit here and watch him turn being just knocking singles around for 70 runs. I mean, wasting my afternoon. Down the leg side by Klaassen. That should be a wide. It is indeed.
That might scupper it eventually.
What?
Sundries.
Why? Well, it's obviously not. It's not that easy to hit big shots. It's not a pitch that doesn't seem particularly conducive to it. So it's a bit harder than before. Buttler just works that around the corner. Down to the long leg. They're going to go for two. They decide not to. It's another single.
The pitch seems a bit slower as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, they said it's slower than the previous pitch. The previous pitch wasn't quick by any stretch, was it? I mean, it's quite a slow pitch previously. So, yeah, it does seem to be the only balls you can hit are the full ones, as you say. You can actually get out to the ball and hit through the line, but anything short, it's a bit of a lottery, especially as the ball's got older. That's kind of full and down the legs, and Jason Roy helps it around down towards long leg, or fine leg really this time. Long leg comes around, they get back for two, and that will be the end of the over, won't it? No, one ball left.
Pirate Bradshaw says, I think the Netherlands would have accepted the 30 points if England elitists wanted to refuse to play for spurious reasons.
Well,
the elitists may want to refuse, but I'm sure there's plenty of jobbing county players who would have jumped at the chance to play.
Exactly. Get a cap. Worked into the leg side by Roy. He's trying to run it again down the fine leg. Well, I think he got into the side edge onto his pad. It goes out to mid-wicket. Bowler has to chase it down. They'll get a single, and that'll end the 24th over, 180 for two. Jace.
And there's lots of love for the Jersey Jingler. He said, I'm glad that the Jersey Jingler's name of what it says. I'm glad that Jersey Jingler got his name from music and not doing suspicious things with his hands in his pockets. And also Jeff Perkins says, serves them right for deciding you'd put up with more abuse than Mog or I would take. Talking about...
Yeah. Look, you can give me as much shit as you like, boys, you know it. We appreciate everything you do. I think sometimes personally, I think sometimes we ask you to do too much. So we appreciate it very much. Van Meekeren is going to bowl his fifth over. He's got 2 for 28. As we look at a man with one of those on the head umbrellas.
Parasol.
Parasol, yeah, they're practical but stupid looking. Paul Van Meekeren is going to bowl, and Roy hits that out to cover. They've got a backward point cover, mid-off on the offside.
Remind me, I'm sure Josh would tell us. Is it Glamorgan he plays for?
You're really asking the wrong person, Jason. You know.
Who's that? Sorry.
Paul van Meekeren.
I don't know. I'll look it up.
I think we looked earlier, and I can't remember. Gloucestershire? Or was that someone else I was looking at?
Gloucestershire, I'll be honest.
Van Meekeren is in, hauled into the leg side with no great timing, it would appear, by Jason Roy. Cameraman couldn't really follow the ball, but it ended up wandering out to mid-wicket, deep mid-wicket, and a single. Yeah, I think I looked him up earlier.
You are, yeah. He plays for Gloucestershire. He's also played for Somerset and Durham.
There you go. So a solid county pro.
And he made his debut 9 years ago against South Africa.
Aha. Yeah, we were discussing this earlier. I mean, some of the ODIs might not have been counted as ODIs or something. Buttler gets right on top of that one, just drops it down in the offside. Behind square on the offside towards point, and there will be no run. Only one off this over so far. They've really kind of gone in their shells a bit. I want to see fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to risk-free run and ball, basically.
Yeah.
Which, 20 odd years ago, you said that's a good innings. Now it's
boring.
Yeah, I guess they're just, again, it's that kind of risk-free brand. They just don't want to do anything stupid to kind of like to get out, but at the same time, they just want to kind of go for it when the chance is there, really.
Well, yeah, and that's pulled by Buttler, hard, but down to deep square leg. We'll get back for 2 this time.
It's the 100 partnership.
There's a 100 partnership. No, it's a 50 for Buttler, though.
That too.
That too. And there you go. Right, let's play this one.
Don't stop just cause you got to 50. Don't stop, treat it as a start. You can use this to get a better score. The first 50's done. The first 50's done.
There's an appeal for caught behind, which should be given as a wide, or did it hit the back leg?
Well, it might not be the 100 partnership, but I'm sure the second one fell on 83.
Okay, yeah, it's around about there, because it was 2 and 2 pretty much, wasn't it?
2 and 3.
2 and 3, yeah. Terrible shot by Malan. Crikey. Don't know what
it was an interesting replay, wasn't it, actually, when they showed that it was exactly the same line and length, basically, wasn't it? It's just the right-hander and left-hander.
Yeah, but he walked so far across his stones, he got bowl behind his legs. I mean, crikey.
Yeah.
That's driven back to the bowler by Buttler. We didn't really follow the ball. We everyone sort of look around, and the batsman stopped going for a single, but it ended up going up to mid-off. And there was no run. Might as well give us a tweet if there are any. Is that the end of the
just one from one of our gremlins in the background saying to all our jingle makers, saying the fact that the Hofbear has admitted that he demands on you are sometimes too much. Don't think for a moment that demands or the whippings will cease.
Who wrote that?
That's got to be the Bish, surely.
Yeah, probably is the Bish.
Who's far enough away that we can't go into the green room and
in fact,
cuff him around the ears.
I don't think he's in for much of this test. He's got to go and pick up the equivalent of his mother-in-law's, or his partner's sister, I think, from way up north because of the train strikes.
Oh my.
For some reason.
Hasn't he got some form of royal garden party to go to soon?
That's why. So he's going to pick. That's it. So the train strikes are on, and he's got to go and pick up his partner's sister. Because his partner is getting, what's he getting? Garden party, you know, and have a party or something. I don't suppose I'm supposed to be saying this. I don't suppose Vivian actually listens to us. Tony, if you tweet me in and you're really angry, I'm sorry, Vivian. That's what happens when you're
No, it is public knowledge, Bear.
I know it's public knowledge she's doing that, but yeah, I don't know if she knows her sister's come down. Oh, I presume she does. She's family after all. Anyway, Klaassen is. Oh dear, he's gonna drop a really quite simple court and bowl chance to Jason Royce. He's trying to work it into the leg side. It's a leg stump line over the wicket.
Utter dolly.
That was an absolute dolly. It was just played back to off the leading edge.
What?
Well, last ball of the over, potentially. And it's just defended into the offside, which is vacant by Buttler. And they'll get themselves a single. I don't know how many was off that over. 2-6, there was a 4. There was, so 6 for the 16?
20 something?
3 6s.
26,
22, 26, 27, I think, yeah. That's a big over. And suddenly it's brought it down to 19 off, 21 overs. Madness. Any more? Anything else? Or we out?
I was up to date. YouTube.
Everyone's just chilling out towards the end of this game. It's frittering towards an end. It's probably the biggest over of the match.
Well, the Manhattan would suggest so.
Yeah. Yeah. 11 extras as well. A lot of wides down the leg side. For some reason we're not getting any play.
There's a question for Leah for Hattie from Leah, saying, "Are you wearing a dirndl, Hattie?"
A dirndl?
It looks more like dungarees to me.
Yeah, they are dungarees, yes.
That's driven out towards the cover boundary. And it'll be
I've
a
never
single.
heard of a dirndl.
No, I've never heard of one either.
Dirndl is the traditional sort of German alpine dress.
Oh, right.
Okay, gosh, no. I very, very rarely do dresses. Thank you, Leah, for thinking that I would be so graceful as to wear a dress, but no. No, dungarees, they are very cool, kind of floaty trouser dungarees, because it's just so bloody hot.
Smash back down the ground. That was a genuine strapple. I'm not sure it was meant to go there. I think he was trying to hit that square, but it's gone straight back past the bowler. Down to long off, and there's a single. Well, Jason Roy could get his ton if he does it this over, I reckon.
My name is Lakan. My name is Lakan.
And Buttler said to him, "No mercy. We're getting this done. We're getting this done quick. If you don't get it done this over, I am going to smash the runs next over, and it's going to be done, and you ain't going to get your ton."
He's got to stay on strike wherever he is.
Well, it's got to be boundaries then, isn't it?
Because like Roy said, Buttler is farming the strike. Who does he think he is?
Yeah. Well, Jason Roy is facing up. 4 balls left in this over. To get to 30, that's a wide down the leg side once again. Yeah, not going to play the jingle. 13 required of 100. So well, it could be over in 30 overs quite easily, couldn't it now?
If Bastelader has a bad over, then yes, it's going to be.
Yeah.
If not, if he has a good over, it's going to finish in the 31st.
Yes, quite.
Yeah. Well, Roy's facing up on 92. Bastelader pulls out. Maybe this is why he doesn't bowl very often. He's pulled out quite a few times. Maybe he loses a run up quite often. He's a genuine Dutch guy, though, isn't he? Yeah.
What you mean, other
than an import?
An import?
Yeah.
I think so. I don't recall him playing for anyone other than the Netherlands ever.
Okay. So he plays top tier Dutch cricket. That's drilled again by Jason Roy. Well, he's thinking, I want that ton, because he's drilled another 4, this time through the covers. Suddenly England has decided, right, that's it. He just got stuck for a couple of overs and thought, fuck it. That's what it says on his handle, isn't it? Supposedly.
Well, it says it on Butler's handle.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And he's skipper for the day. Roy just needs 4 now for his 100. 236 for 2, England. He clips that into the leg side. He's going to get a single. Ooh, this could be testy. 8 to win. Buttler hits a 6 now.
That would just
yes.
Moral, and then a single.
The moral dilemma.
Yeah, exactly. You got to play what's in front of you, though, haven't you?
Yeah, and he would.
Maybe there's a little bit. Maybe there's a bit of needle between the two of them. A Buttler's going now. I'm not going to have it. The leader in, and Buttler plays it down the track. He'll get himself a single. Now, this is a good position for Buttler, because if he mistimes it out to the boundary, if it does, as long as it's not air and gets caught, presumably it'll only be a 1. If he gets through, it'll be 4, and he'll have his ton. And if he gets to 1, he'll still be on strike at the end, at the other end. You don't have to come in, Andy.
Okay.
Oh right, okay. Let's get.
There it is.
That's 4 runs, and I'll play him a jingle for that. That, and he's got
2 plus 2 is
100.
on man.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Congratulations, sir. You are a centurion.
And that's 30 overs done. We're supposed to have a change. Do you want to step out, Hattie, and let Adil come in? He's been waiting all day to come on. We might as well give him 3 runs.
Alright, I'll see you guys later.
Okay, see you later. Alright, bye. Alright, Adil, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just planning to drown my sorrows of the Dutch series loss.
Well.
I mean, I could have as well waited. It's okay. I wrote on the message. It's all right if Hattie wanted to finish it off. It's just probably 1 blow from here, right? The 100 is already done.
It's going to be 1 blow, exactly that. I don't think it really makes any difference.
It's a spinner in front of Buttler.
Indeed, it's Pringle, and he has been lofted out of the ground.
And that is it.
For exactly that. Into the park, out into the trees, game over. 30 overs and 1 ball, I was dead on. And England win by 8 wickets. Josh Buttler ends up on what, 80 odd? 80 exactly. Jason Roy on 101. England win by 8 wickets, 242 for 8, done in 30 overs. Probably could have got 500 today, but hey, you know, that's the way it goes. Batting second. It's been a fun little series. I don't want to say it's pointless because it's not. I don't think England were ever in any jeopardy at all.
It's a delayed series, isn't it? This was meant to be played about a year ago, I think.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, that's right. I seem to remember it got cancelled, wasn't it? When COVID came back or something. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, you've got to play these series.
I mean, this is the way Dutch will grow. The Dutch cricket will grow also.
Precisely.
Like, no,
exactly.
People who are followers of Dutch cricket, like me, people who live here, probably will go get to watch a few good games, and the KNCB will earn a few bobs for its coffer. So it's not a bad thing.
Who are the big sides of the Netherlands got to play in their qualifying a little bit? And how we did this the other day, but I can't remember. They've still got a few to play, haven't they? They've still got to play Pakistan.
They've got Pakistan to play 3 games.
And New Zealand as well, right? So there are 2 more series left this summer.
So that's some good cricket to watch. Exactly that. And if you can entice people to come and watch the games and get some of the locals involved, then maybe you make it stronger, etc., etc. That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work.
KNCB did a few good initiatives during the West Indies series, I remember. This series is an earner. I'm not going to challenge them about it, but I think during the West Indies series, they did a few good things. They allowed kids free for the first ODI, I remember, and I think parents were only half price tickets so that they could get more people in the first couple of ODIs, if I remember.
Well, this is it. If you want to grow, you've got to do things like that, haven't you? And having teams that are prepared to pay for TV rights and stuff, even though it's probably not a great deal, it all adds to it and helps it grow, doesn't it? So good for them. Well, we are going to wrap up. You got anything last to say?
Yeah, I was just watching the handshakes as they went over. Both teams shook each other's hands. Poor old Moeen Ali didn't bowl, didn't bat.
I don't think he cares.
Didn't have much a game really.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Had a nice day. Yeah.
Pick up your win bonus on the way out.
Absolutely.
Series winning one, yeah. So,
exactly. Money in the bank. Money in the bank. Count that cash.
I was looking at a very interesting news from New Zealand squad perspective that's going to tour Netherlands later on in the summer, right? So Michael Rippen, who's played previously for the Netherlands, has been selected in the Kiwi squad.
Yes, I've seen him play. He's got a very interesting action.
Exactly. So very interesting left arm wrist spinner. I don't think we can use the other word anymore, but that guy. And he has a reasonably good record as far as Netherlands are concerned. They would have taken him very happily, but so it looks like they are going to try a few things. New Zealand. Santner will get to captain a couple of games, I think. And we may very much expect that somebody like Ripon, who very recently played for the Netherlands 2 to 3 years ago, is now going to come from the other side, wearing the other colours.
Wow, yeah, that's what we did with Dan Morgan, wasn't it, Ireland? So, and we did it with Boyd Rankin for a little bit, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also sense a bit of nepotism. Kane Williamson's cousin has been picked.
Well, you know. Is it a strong squad they're sending out now?
I think it's a pretty much experimental squad from what I can see. There are 4 to 5 players who are experienced. But then, so you have Mitchell Santner who will be captaining. You have Michael Bracewell, Finn Allen, Mark Chapman, Dane Cleaver, Lockie Ferguson, Martin Guptill, Adam Mill, Darren Mitchell, the man of the moment, Jimmy Neesham, Glenn Phillips, Michael Ripon, Ben Sears, another new name as far as I'm concerned, Ish Sodhi and Blair Tickner.
It's not a walk. No, I mean it's not wholly. I mean there's a good lot of experience there.
That's not a
reasonable squad.
It's not your top line squad.
It's not your top line squad,
but it's got every match is going to have something like 7 or 8
proper
experienced international players.
Exactly, which is fair enough. I think it's fair enough.
Even the coach is taking a break. We understand. The Kiwi coach, Gary.
Is that straight from England, by the way?
I think so. I mean, they're going to Ireland actually after that, right?
Oh,
so
right,
they finished the England tour, then they go to Ireland for an ODI squad, where I think that squad is much stronger as well. Still, all your big names are given a break, like the bowlers, Trent Bolt, Saudi, of course, Kane Williamson, they're all given a break. Also, Tom Latham, I don't see him in the Dutch squad, for example. Yeah. So, I mean, CDG is not there, Colin de Grandome. So
yeah, well, he's injured anyway. So.
Injured, I think. Yeah, you're right.
So he might have been,
He might have actually led the squad, I think, if he was not injured in the Netherlands. But by the way.
Yeah. Lockie Ferguson's exciting to see. It's a shame to miss. I mean, that's the thing. You want to see some of the big players. I mean, England, Joss Buttler and all the guys, especially the batting unit, that are playing a top draw, aren't they? I mean, people come to see them.
And Lockie Ferguson, Adam Milne gives you the express pace that you want to see.
Precisely.
I saw Philip and Alzari Joseph live. It's quite something. From behind their bowler's arm, it's quite something. I would like to watch Lockie and maybe Blair Tickner is not no slouch either. He bowls fast. That would be good. Milne, maybe Tickner and
I remember when I watched
Ferguson.
I did the World Cup in 2019, but watching Jofra Archer from behind his arm, that's special.
It's quite something, isn't it?
He's quick.
He doesn't seem to be straining himself at all.
No, but it's fucking
wonder
quick.
How he generates such a lot of.
And same with Wood as well. You can really tell.
There's one of those balls. The balls that I'm seeing the highlights now, and that I would have been a bit disappointed by that ball. Actually, it slipped out of his hand. And
it did. It was double bouncer. Got smashed into the crowd for 6. It was only an over ago. It was quite funny. I don't think I've ever actually seen that. Most people sort of let it go, or they try and hit it and miss it.
I think it was no balled.
Yeah, it was no ball. It was no ball 6.
Oh,
Next ball went for 6.
Nicely done. Nicely done, Mr. Buttler.
Indeed. Right, we've got to go. I've got to do some things to wrap up here and get ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow is a test match, and we're playing the 3rd test at Headingley. England versus New Zealand.
Are you in the office here?
Oh, of course I'm in the office. Where else am I going to be? I'm always in the office, pretty much. I think I've got Sunday off and late Saturday afternoon because I'm going to someone's 50th birthday party, so I'm planning on being hungover on Sunday, so I don't really want to come in.
I will be here in spirit and across the wires of the internet.
Cool.
For one session, I think.
All right, lovely. Are you in? I never look at. I know I'm in all the time, so I don't ever actually look at rotors till the day. Are you in at all, actually?
I think I'm on on Saturday.
Okay.
I think Sunday there has been some mix-up, but I'm trying to sort it out. Tony, I have a game, and I made a mistake in giving my availability, but I expect to be there on Saturday and Monday.
Okay, cool. I think it could go to Monday. I think there's going to be weather over the weekend. Tomorrow looks absolutely fine and sunny, but from what weather reports I saw, there's a low coming in from the Atlantic that should spread sort of showers and rain. Not so much on Friday. I think Friday will be quite dull with a few patches of rain. Saturday looks like it potentially could be a washout. You seen that? I mean, for what I mean, it's just looking at the radar maps. They always stop the rain. I don't know if it's passing through, but there's a big band of rain that looks set to hit sort of Yorkshire through Saturday.
They only project it so far in advance.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing.
That's the thing.
So it can all change. It could be as dry as a bone and sunny. Who knows? But that's what the weather says 2 days out, 3 days out. Anyway, we're going to say goodbye. See you tomorrow, bright and early. We'll be on air at 11:50 for the start of the game. Until then, Thanks for coming on for that last little bit, Adil, that one ball. And I'll see you on Saturday. See you later, Jason. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Hattie and Messi. He's thanks to him.
And all
everyone
the other
who's been on
people.
today. We shall see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Bye.
Doesn't seem to be any demons in the track, although it was going through quite nicely. A couple flew over the keeper's head when they were dug in.
Yeah, I thought that was out for a minute.
I did for half a second, yeah.
But no.
Klaassen. I'll go off my TV screen. So yeah, okay. So that one was dug in, and that one went way over Salt's head. Not called a wide, surprisingly.
No.
Should have been. That's a dot ball, fifth ball of the over. Quite invitingly into the gap, but that sweeper, who's about 10 yards in from the boundary on the offside. It's just trying to get his name right, Nidamanuru, and he fields it successfully. So both the openers have now opened their accounts. England 2-0.
Quite quiet first over.
Yes, not a great deal happening here. Last ball of it. And that's just knocked down to points. No run, just 2 runs from Klaassen, conceded by Klaassen England 2-0 at the end of the first over.
Also fairly quiet on Twitter, as is often the way. Start of the second innings, people just digesting their lunch.
Absolutely.
Mog did say half an hour ago when Salar came into bat.
No, he didn't come into bat. He upped and retired after the first game.
No, Klaassen, sorry, I mean my mistake.
Yeah.
He said, guess who'd been reading ancient Egyptian protection invocations when doing the Klaassen jingle, so that sort of explains that one.
Oh, well, indeed. Not a bad first over there. Where did we
end up on the GBL?
Well, unless England lose by 1 run, if England lose by 1 run, i.e. get 2-4-3, then someone will win. Other than that, 287 was the next highest score, which would require
some sort of biblical collapse.
Yeah. Sorry, 487, which will require an inordinate amount of runs off the last ball to win.
487's okay. 487's the one that's close. What's the next one?
Oh yeah, 487. 498 is the next one.
Yeah,
sorry,
okay,
which would be an impossibility.
Phil Salt, who's already got a century to his name in this series, settles over his bat. Logan van Beek explodes into the crease. That one was wide, went a little bit wider. Salt successfully chased after it. Let's make it to the boundary. Called in by, I think that's Bawasavane out there, who knocks it back, I think, to Vikramjit.
And we should have a jingle for the bowler.
Coming up next is a Kiwi Dutch man. Van Beek, he'll bet and bowl. Van Beek, he'll bet and bowl. Van Beek, he'll bet and bowl.
Yeah, a few crisps there. And
getting stuck in the throat.
Very slightly. I've had some water. Hopefully I'll... Don't worry about me. Professional as ever.
Absolutely.
In comes Van Beek. Beautiful textbook forward defensive. Although it does slightly go off the inside edge to the man at square leg there. And there is no run. 3 was scored off that first ball from Salt, so he's moved on to 4 and the score to 5 for no wicket.
So I want you to guess which tweeter says, we had a wobble in the last match. I